Hi everyone, today let's talk about the Tesla GM deal, then we'll see how we did for Max Payne, then we'll take a quick look at the charts, then we'll take a look at my results for the day and my thoughts going into the Monday session. If you like trading stocks and options and making money, definitely like and subscribe. I make videos like this every single day that the markets are open as well as Sundays, so make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Welcome to the Portfolio Bulletin. Let's get started. So in case you haven't heard, GM and Tesla are now in a deal, the same way that they did a deal with Ford. They're going to let GM use their charging network, and this continues to prop up the Tesla stock. They're going to get a bunch of money from Ford and GM for using their charging network, and the stock has rallied aggressively. They do mention that both GM and Ford were up quite a bit, as Ford and GM are benefiting from the Tesla charging network, and that'll allow them to make a little bit more margins on their electric vehicles. GM expects to save $400 million out of the $750 that they had pledged to put into EV charging just by using the Tesla network. Again, this is a good deal for both, and both of these companies are going higher. Moving over to Max Payne, we finished right around that 430 level, just at the top of all of these puts, 430.05, so all of these puts ends up worthless. Just a few puts made money at 431 and 432. Highest call strike, 430, just a few cents above that again. A few people making a tiny amount of money, but most of the puts have lost all their money, and that makes sense with the vast majority of options on the SPY being puts. Put call ratio still at 1.93, so again, puts ending up worthless and a good close for Wall Street. We'll talk about next week's options market in the Sunday video, and there are a ton of options, so it'll be very important to keep an eye on this chart going into next week. Moving over to the charts, starting off with the S&Ps here on the hour and the daily chart, you can see we got a nice rally, hit that resistance, moved back into the middle of the zone, ended up like a doji. Momentum starting to fade, RSI still strong. Slight up day, but not much of note here on the S&Ps. Still holding above 428.59, still looking at trend resistance up around 431, 432. Moving over to the Qs, you can see similar thesis, got above horizontal support, held in that area, chopped in this same consolidation as a couple of days ago, did not push up to 359 and test resistance, still holding in this zone here. We did test the highs from Monday and then chopped in this same consolidation area. Trend still bullish. Momentum on the 4-hour looking to flip bullish maybe on Monday or Tuesday. We do have some big economic news and data coming out next week, so maybe we're in a holding pattern until then. But either way, trend is still slightly bullish, and momentum looking to flip bullish on the longer term charts on Monday. Moving over to the Russell and the Dow, you can see the Russell did pull back a little bit. It's below 186. Looking at 183.24 as support, but I'm watching this 21 EMA here on the 4-hour chart at 184.23. Certainly could bounce off that level. This is still a very bullish trend. Realistically, I wouldn't expect this to flip until we get a substantial lower high or a double top type pattern up around 187.90. I still think we'll probably hit 189 at some point before this rally is over. This might just be a shorter term pullback. Dow getting above resistance, nice to see it. Looking at 343.23 as the next level. Trend continuing, starting to look like a bit of a ramp. Maybe this accelerates on Monday or Tuesday up into that level. Momentum, very little. RSI, overbought conditions, but volume did tick up here today, so that's interesting. Like I said, you really want to see this accelerate and push up to that next higher level. Moving over to Apple and Tesla, you can see Apple hit that horizontal resistance at 182.37, pulled back a little bit to trend support. You want to see this breakout Monday or Tuesday and get the continuation up into new highs. Momentum is fading, RSI, slight divergence here. We have lower RSI reads and similar price action when you compare to Tuesday, which was very overbought on that day, compared to Friday, which was a high overbought day. So a little bit interesting there, slight divergence on Apple. Tesla, on the other hand, looks like a rocket ship once again, gapped up, found a little bit of weakness. Still a very bullish day, up 4%. Volume continuing to ramp. Momentum still very bullish. Tesla putting the markets on its back here today. Moving over to Roku and Lulu. Roku hit 74.08. Price target hit. Pulled back quite a bit from that level. Certainly could be a bit of a topping pattern now. You have some divergence on RSI with higher prices. So certainly could see a little bit of a pullback after this really big move. Lulu finding a little bit of a base at the 55 EMA, finding a bit of a rally here today. Certainly could push up into this 366 area, up at the 200 SMA on the 4-hour chart. And then we have trend resistance up at 374.27. Looks kind of nice here, honestly. This looks like a setup for at least a retest of that trend line. Moving over to discretionary and staples. Staples continues to hold in this area. Still think this is a nice base, and I still think we're going to get a nice move higher above 74, potentially up to 75.40. Momentum continues to build. We're just not quite getting that breakout yet. RSI did get above the SMA, and it looks nice. Discretionary, big gap up, fall. Again, still being driven by Tesla. Hit my 162 level, broke down from that zone. If we get above it, 166.78 is my next upper level. RSI very overbought here on the daily chart, but momentum is still bullish. Moving over to stocks above the 50 and 200 day average, basically didn't move for the last 3 days. Kind of looks like a bit of a topping pattern at this point. That would be quite bearish. Honestly, I want to see this continue up higher into this 77 area, especially on the 50 chart. That's a pretty big area where we could see bigger pullbacks. If you want to go bearish, you would like to see a push into that zone and then a nice breakdown from there. If we hang in this zone and then break down, I don't expect it to be a huge move lower. We just don't have that same high breadth that we had on the bigger pullbacks. But at this point, you have to be entertaining the fact we might see a shorter term pullback and then potentially get the pushback into those more healthy levels. Daily momentum on the 200 actually stepped down a little bit here today. You can see slightly more bearish on the 200, which is concerning. It wasn't quite as bullish as the 50. You can see it was a double bottom versus that higher low setup. Higher low definitely demonstrates a little bit more strength. And similar to the 50, I would like to see this push up into the 68 to 76 area. Again, a much healthier level. And then you can see that bigger pullback that we got from that same area last time. Moving over to the 2-year and the 10-year yield, you can see the 2-year continuing to go higher here, setting up higher highs and higher lows. Overall, looks quite bullish. Jumping that out to the daily chart, you can see we're back at those previous highs. Got the gap fill that we filled on this last rally. If we take out this high, it certainly could be pushing back up to that 5 range. I don't think we'll get that high. I don't think we're going to see yields stay that high for that long. 2 years is a long time, and the market is expecting cuts early next year, which is generally in line with what the Fed is saying. But this still looks quite bullish. Looking at the 10-year, we've been sideways for a couple of days here. Still below my 3 3/4 level, just barely. Threw some wicks through it today, but still holding in this range. Moving over to J&K and TLT, you can see J&K making a higher high, continues to look quite bullish, momentum bullish, RSI still bullish. I'd like to see this break out a little bit more, get above these previous highs around that 91.82 area. That would be interesting. And really, I want to see a push up to 92.50. That would be quite bullish. This still looks like a higher low setup, and we're starting to see that accelerate through now. I just want to see that higher high versus this previous consolidation. TLT, on the other hand, did find a higher low, found a little bit of a rally. You want to see it get above 102.50, push back up to 103.70. Certainly seems possible here. Again, still kind of looks like a flag. In fact, we'll just put it on there. You can see what that looks like. You want to see this break out here, push up into this next zone. That would be quite bullish. But otherwise, you're still chopping in this area, and you could absolutely see a pullback from current levels. Moving over to the volatility indices, you can see move still chopping in this zone. Certainly could be a pendant chop in this zone, break down to this previous low. That would be interesting. Looking at the VIX, we actually got an inside day, which is generally a reversal type candle. Could be setting up for a little bit of a move higher. Momentum did step down here, slightly towards bullish. RSI still very weak, certainly could push up and retest the SMA. We're at extremes and it would make sense to get a push up to 1490 at this point. But remember, this is still a very aggressive downtrend. Moving over to my accounts, you can see I was down slightly on the day. I did try to follow that QQQ push up into resistance, and then it fell most of the rest of the day, and fell into the close as well. Looking at the IWM, I got some shares at 186, which was basically break even on that put. Not too bad. I sold the 185 call here for 84 cents. So I'll get that $84 on Monday either way. I also sold a 184 put here in my Roth account, slight profit there as well. I'll take off this 177 put in Monday's session. Looking at the Qs, I had some 355 puts. I'll get assigned on those puts. So I'll get 200 shares there. And I already sold the 355 calls for $1.16 each. Again, looking to pull in about $230 from that position on Monday. I also sold some 351 puts, small profit there. I almost took these off. I was a little bit concerned going into the close. I have that 353 level that I'm watching, and if we do get below that, I will take off these puts. I also have some 353 puts for Tuesday. Again, slight profits there. I will take those off if we get below my support level, which I will be watching very closely on Monday. Looking at this XOP position, I rolled it down to 127, got some profits from that, and I let those shares go. We'll see how this looks on Monday. I might start to look for a new position either somewhere else or a little bit cheaper in XOP. I still think it has a good base, but seems to be consolidating a little bit more than I thought. Let me know what you think of Tesla and Ford and GM all coming together. Are they going to be the dynasty of the car makers? Can they take on Toyota? Definitely like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Make sure you check out that Sunday video where we go much deeper into all of the charts. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.